Come on, yo. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. Slant.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version.
All right, Paulie, let's go.
All right, listen, y'all. Just go ahead and let the guest play. Come on, jeez. That's better. All right, go.
Happy evening, happy night to or day or morning, wherever you may be. If you're watching this live with us, if you're in the chat, or if you're watching this on replay, welcome to the Latino Slant. My name is Paulie, and you know, this wasn't expecting to do this night stream, but I want to first thank Fletcher Williams for doing the day stream. That's right. He took over our weekly Monday show, and he did an incredible job at hosting. Not only did he host, but he interviewed a music talent. He did his news items. He was simply awesome. So thank you so much. Now, what we're doing tonight, we're going to have not one, but two awesome panelists: film critic Rosa Parra and writer, producer, novelist Kamran Pasha on with us. We're going to talk about two related news items today in regards to Neve Campbell and now her announcement of going back to Scream, and then Gina Carano and her announcement really coming back into the Hollywood fold. It's this is, I would say, 2 or 3 steps in of Gina already back into the Hollywood studio fold. And we'll talk about that. But, you know, I had promised that I was going to read a letter on my live show, and I did not make my live show, but I am a man of my word. And this is in regards to the movie Cabrini, and I think it's a great way to cleanse the palate and to remind all of us that, well, whatever subject matters we talk about, social, political, racial, whatnot, it's important to know that we're all in this together. This was in regards to the movie Cabrini. Deborah Young says, "I just left the Cabrini movie that I told you I was going to see today, and it was absolutely brilliant. It was emotional, and it really pulled at both my heartstrings and my soul. Being of Irish descent, I definitely remembered stories that my dad told me about his family's trek to the United States to the modern family. I'm from today. I owe them everything, and when I take my trip to Ireland this year, I know the county and the parish that I belong to, and I'm taking my dad's picture along with his other brothers who never got to go there, and make sure to leave them at the parish where it all started. It is indeed inspirational and needs many people to see it. Thanks for asking me to share my feelings on this movie because it sure would be hard not to be able to tell somebody how I feel. My name is Deborah Young. My maiden name was McDonald, and I'm a member of Echo Base Network. That's how I got to you guys." Well, Deborah Young of the Echo Base Echo Base clan, Echo Base Network clan, and of the McDonald clan of Ireland. Welcome to being a Slantino and to being with us. Wonderful, wonderful letter. And Penny, who's in the chat as well, she got to see the movie Cabrini. She was equally moved. I don't know if I was able to. I don't know if I made it clear enough. But yes, you're going to be very emotional and you will cry a lot at this movie called Cabrini. It is directed by Alejandro Monteverde from Mexico. He's an incredible director, and you can find those links to the movie reviews as well. But I wanted to read that letter to Deborah, ever of us reminding us just how connected we are. With Irish people and with Italians and with Mexicans, we have a strong Catholic root and a strong sense of family. We worship differently. We definitely celebrate differently. Latinos a little more loud. And not only at church but at home, we're just as far as just being loud, rascally people. But there's definitely so many commonalities, and so I think that's wonderful, Deborah, that you took the time to write this really wonderful, long form comment. I call it a letter, like Robert Meyer Burnett does. And if you guys ever have a long form letter or a long form comment, just please always send it to me. And I love connecting. This is a wonderful way to connect. And I just wanted to thank Deborah Young so far. Okay, so listen, my guests are here. We're gonna jump right into it. And before we jump right into it, I want to say hello to the people who are already here. We almost have 30 people live with us. This is wonderful. Steve Yarnell, Niku, Dylan Soup, Bonso, Sin's Corner. What's up, Sin? Hola, Sin. One of my favorite members of the channel. It's Courtney Fellowship of Oddballs. Penny said goodnight. Gonna watch this on the replay. Por favor. Let's see. Let's just get this out of the way. Gina Carano still counts with the management group she signed with. Only have one client, Gina Carano. They also have studio. They also have studio and haven't made a movie since 2019. Okay. I'm gonna mark that because that is that cannot be overlooked. What right now, though, we're going to get into our first subject. And before we get into our first subject, we're going to bring in some wonderful people. You know her, you'll love her writing on theLatinoSlant.com. Her review on Dune 2 got picked up by Dune, by the movie themselves. She calls it the perfect film. It's a perfect looking film. And she's got some wonderful new reviews coming up for us. And also, we are going to Vegas next month to CinemaCon with Rosa Parra. What's up, girl? Hello.
Hey.
Hey, what's happening, Latina?
Nothing, just here hanging out and finally get a chance to talk to you.
Finally, you're night. Yeah. Rosa's has a full life, everybody. A full life. She's got like two careers. She's going to school. She's got kids, and a hubby.
And a hubby and like 5 cats and a chihuahua and
Ándale, pues.
you name it, I probably have it.
Show. Okay, well, I'm very excited that you're here because you had some very choice words in regards to the Neve Campbell news. We're going to get to that. Right, we're actually going to kick off with your tweet on X, but let's bring him in, man. He might as be El Kamran Pasha.
Hola, how are you, my friend?
Good evening, brother. Good evening. Did you break your fast? You good?
I broke my fast an hour ago. I've been eating since then. So, I may step away for a couple minutes to make myself a cup of tea because I'm still a little groggy. Today was my first day of the Ramadan fast for me. And it's pretty intense. I actually haven't done it in a few years. If you recall, the last time I did it was about 2 or 3 years ago, and I actually ended up, I had a medical issue, not related to the fast. It just happened at the same time, and I'm going to the hospital. Right. I haven't fasted in a couple of years just to be cautious, right? But I'm trying it again this year. So hopefully we got through day one.
Okay, good. So yeah, please take your breaks, do what you need to do, have that tea nearby, and we're just happy you're here. We already got a nice crowd, guys. And if you guys are coming from Kamran Pash's Patreon, welcome. We love that just as well. Okay, let's jump into this, guys. And I want to bring up Rosa Parra's tweet because I think it says it all. It says it all, Kamran, because this is what me and you have been waxing and waning on, is that they had a chance at gold being the Latino movie-going audience, they being Spyglass Entertainment and their treatment of Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. So here we go from Rosa's post, you said, Rosa, good for her, wishing her nothing but the best, but I will not be watching. Manifesting a collaboration between Melissa and Jenna in the near future, Latinas United, I'll be supporting my girls in any project they do.
You're not alone, Rosa. You're not alone. Paulie and I have been texting all day about it. I think that I'll talk about my opinions about this, but I think that this is going to be a position that many people are going to hold, not just in the Latino community. I mean, I'm not Latino. I may be sort of like honorary Latino because come on the slant all the time, right? But
You're brown, brother.
But I'm sort of Latino adjacent, right, from Pakistan,
Yeah.
pretty adjacent, right? But I'm a huge fan of the Scream franchise and everything that's happened with it in the last several months, and the way Melissa was treated. It just rubbed me the wrong way, and this behavior to me is just their desperate effort to try to turn the clock back. But then we'll talk about they already disrespected her too. So Neve is being brought back in after she was disrespected. So it's really just clown show here, and I don't know that I want to be involved in it anymore.
Yeah.
Rosa, why this post?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to wish any ill will to Neve Campbell. I'm being sincere. Maybe it comes across as sarcastic. I don't know, but you can read sarcasm via a tweet. But I didn't want to wish her any ill will. I didn't want to be like, oh my God, here she goes, and make her the villain or the antagonist of this whole story. Because, just like Kamran just said right now, she also was pretty much dismissed, and she wasn't given the respect and given paid what she was worth, at least in her opinion. So for them to go back to her and pretty much bring her back, I feel that I don't know how to specifically feel about that part. I just don't want to make her feel or make her look bad for accepting the offer. You know what I mean? So I sincerely do wish her the best, and I wish her nothing but the best. But yeah, I probably won't be watching the film. Maybe I might change my mind, or something might happen that might shift my perception or perspective of this. Pero yeah, I'm always gonna be rooting for my Latinas, and including Jenna and Melissa, and hopefully we get to see them in another project in the near future. And probably it can be a horror movie, but any other project as well.
I hope to get them in my projects.
Yes.
The last time I was on with Paulie just a few days ago, we're talking about an action horror movie I wrote with a Latina lead, and though they're both like superb candidates to be the lead of this movie that I've written called The Belle of Babylon. And so, yeah, I'd love to see them there. And I just want to support what you're saying, Rosa, because, I'm a huge fan of Scream, a lot of respect for Neve Campbell. But it's something that Paulie reminded me on my Patreon today when I was talking about this topic. He said, who was one of the first people, in fact, the only person in the crew that went out, in the cast that went out and supported Neve Campbell when she was kicked off the last movie. It was Melissa Barrera. She said, pay the woman.
Right.
So Melissa Barrera has always been her, and in her camp, and even now we saw, as Paulie posted a few days ago on Latino Slant, there was footage of her talking at this Comic-Con where she says on a panel that Neve's character Sydney will always be the hero of Scream. I mean, she's saying that after everything she's been through. She's still honoring, Neve Campbell as her predecessor, and who's in shadow that she had to step into, and she did a great job. I mean, people didn't think that this thing was going to survive, with this new cast, and it did, and that's why this is so stupid. That's why this is so stupid, because they pulled off the impossible. People liked this new cast. It was going to be okay without Neve. It was going to be fine. Even as much as I love Neve, with Jenna and Melissa, it was going to be great. They did 2 movies that did really well. People wanted to see more of them. This is just nonsense.
Rosa?
Yeah, I've been hearing, or at least reading, some rumors that Neve Campbell tried or at least attempted to bring back Melissa before accepting or something like that. But obviously I can't confirm or deny anything. What I
I
will
hope
say
that's
is that
true.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to find out myself and see if I can get into somebody's DMs and see if they reply to me or
Hey,
something.
look, if you have access to Melissa Barrera's DMs, you have to give me that access, right? That's a thing I didn't do. I know she's got a rich husband, but I'm gonna slide into that DM.
I'm gonna try. I know she read my review of your monster and she messaged me on Instagram.
Wow.
So we'll see. But I'm
Wow.
gonna try. I'm gonna try.
I gotta get my
I don't
script over
promise anything
to
though.
Rosa. Maybe she can help me.
I want to stay on point, and we'll
Yeah.
come back to that. But you know, Melissa has gone on record, public record, on camera record, backing up not only Neve Campbell back when Neve decided not to take the money, you know, the bad pay, but years before within the Heights in regards to believing in her cast, believing in the product. When was it? You know, spring of 2021, it was not in vogue. It was in vogue to blast everything that didn't have enough of a particular diversity type in the film. And she's like, "That's
Or
ridiculous.
that story kept changing.
This is the best
whatever
cast."
it was. Yeah, they kept critiquing the critique kept changing. You know, it
Right.
wasn't. You know, there's no way to win a critique that keeps changing, right? On this diversity issue, right?
Mhm.
But she stood her ground. You know, when her cast was being attacked on
Yeah.
a live YouTube video interview where her own director was essentially apologizing for casting the people when he was confronted. Why aren't there more Afro Latinos? I mean, two of the four.
That's what it
leads
is.
are
That's
Afro-Latino.
Thanks for reminding me. Why wasn't there more Afro Latinos confronted on camera? And they all apologized and bowed down, except for Melissa Barrera. And she just basically said, "Look, I hear you, but this is the best cast."
Yeah. And it was.
It's called talent.
I wasn't going to go see that movie. You made me see that movie, and I was like, I was in love with that movie. I mean, I'm a New Yorker. I'm from Brooklyn. This took me back. I was texting my sister saying, "This is our childhood."
So I think what we're seeing here is always an independent woman from Mexico, Rosa, that is not afraid to speak her mind, doesn't follow the Hollywood game, and is paying for it a little bit. But you said something about not wishing Neve Campbell any ill will. For me, it's up to a certain point, because, you know, if she tried to get her back into the fold, I appreciate that. But listen, she's taken the payday. She has a career already. I guess she needed more money. And she was scheduled to be part of that Comic-Con panel, the Planet Com panel, with not only Melissa Barrera, but with Skeet Ulrich, Matthew Lillard, and she backed out. That's probably because they probably told her to back out. It's like, you're signing on the dotted line. You can't be there with Melissa. You cannot show up and be in the same
I'm sure
space
she was
as Melissa.
told. I don't know that she would have walked away, but I'm sure. I mean, we're only hearing this announcement today. I'm sure this has been in the works for at least a few weeks. There's been contract.
Oh, sure.
We only heard about it. So she was told by her employers, now you can't be seen with persona non grata on that stage because we're about to give you this job. It's going to look bad, which is, you know, on one level, once you sign a contract, you're bound to your employer, but it's whole thing is cheesy if that's what happened.
Rosa?
Yeah, I still feel the same in terms of Neve Campbell. I think that I just feel that people should not be they shouldn't be the recipients of either hatred or the recipients of and this is coming from somebody who's been obviously very supportive of Melissa. And don't get me wrong, when in terms of Melissa, in terms of what Melissa's views are about her politics and things that are going on in the other side of the world, I personally don't have any opinions because I'm not fully knowledgeable of what's going on. Therefore, I don't feel comfortable having any opinions
That's
about it.
fair. That's fair.
So my issue here is that, for example, not on Sunday we had the Oscars, right? You had the red carpet. You have Mark Ruffalo talking openly about this and being Oscar nominated. A lot of Oscar nominees talking about this, and to me, it just seems unfair for her to be treated this way. And it all. I don't, again, no ill will, but if anything, I am more disappointed and more frustrated with Spyglass and how they handle this. And what happened to her, because it's always very, again, disappointing and frustrating to see how other actors and musicians and people, filmmakers, producers, and so on, are openly talking about this, and there is no consequences. And again, I'm not saying everybody.
John Cusack is aggressively talking about this. John Cusack.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So Cameron. So Cusack, what's his name? Rami
Youssef.
Rami Youssef.
Mark Ruffalo
was out there. I mean, yeah.
More than literally a diversity of celebrities talking about this. They're still working.
Yeah,
what's going on here? Why single her out? I mean,
I think it's Spyglass.
They see Spyglass singled her out. I mean, that to me is like just libel, straight up. She should be suing those guys.
Well,
but why did they do that? Why was it so strong?
I was on your channel a week ago, and it's my opinion remains. It's even been bolstered in the last several days, especially with the events that I've saw happen since the Oscars. Right? It's only strengthened my opinion that I stated on your channel just a week ago, which is that Hollywood doesn't understand the Latino community. Of course, Hollywood is racist towards everybody, right? But they want to make money off of their racism, and they don't understand the Latino community. And Melissa shocked them because they didn't understand that many Latinos share her view. And Rosa, I respect that you're saying you don't have an opinion on this because that's a valid position to take. People should learn more about it and come to an opinion. I do have an opinion about this, and I'm unashamed to say it. I mean, I'm very strongly pro-Palestinian. I'm a Muslim guy. I've been saying that for 20 years. It hasn't helped me in Hollywood. Doesn't make me a lot of friends, but I'm unashamed of it. I support Melissa Barrera's point of view and John Cusack's point of view and everyone else. That's just my opinion. Okay. However, but Hollywood didn't know that many Latinos were sympathetic to that part of the world and not in the narrative that they thought they'd be sympathetic to. And so Melissa shocked them, and it frightened them because they're trying to make money off of these people. But it's what I talked about last week. They're trying to make money off these people while also telling these people what to think. That's why Hollywood so aggressively pushed Latinx and all this other stuff, right? Even though the community was largely resisting it, because Hollywood wanted to change how Latinos think. And the discovery that Latinos have their own opinions and aren't going to be changed by, this industry is very frightening for people in Hollywood. And that's why John Cusack, a white guy, isn't being attacked for this. Ava DuVernay, a black woman, isn't being attacked for this. Rami Youssef is an Arab guy. He's not being attacked for this. It's the Latinos they're afraid of because they understand this is the future market. They understand that demographically it's the future market, and they don't know how to control this market. It scares them.
Rosa, lots to unpack here. Okay.
Yeah.
You said something about being Latinas united, right? Why did you say that? From what you're seeing in your circles, are other Latinas like, we're behind Melissa? This is bullshit. This says, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Whether they're other artists or they are people who follow, they are film critics or people who just have podcasts or anything like that. Absolutely. They're supporting Melissa, and they're supporting her and what she stands for, and the fact that she's not allowing Hollywood to give up her morals, pretty much, to just change her mind, and she's just standing strong. And I think, and for me, I don't care what the trades headline says. I don't care how they reported it. To me, in my mind, Jenna also left the project in solidarity with Melissa, and that is what I mean by Latina.
Really?
To me, that's Oh yeah, for sure. I
I mean,
don't care what those
it's what
straights say.
I agree with you, and I said it when it happened that she's going to leave.
Yeah.
When I reported on my Patreon that she had that Melissa had been fired, I said Jenna's going to leave. I said Jenna's going to leave because Jenna has been months before the events of the last few months, right? A year ago, Jenna was proudly talking about this topic, this region of the Middle East, and presenting very strong opinions, more aggressively than Melissa is. And I said, Jenna already shares these opinions. There's probably even more out there with them, right? And she's not going to tolerate it. And 24 hours later, she left. And the official narrative was scheduling. It wasn't scheduling. But scheduling, that would have been announced before. It's 24 hours later. That was done. I'm out. And then they covered their butts. And her agents probably said, Jenna, don't make a big deal about it. Let them say whatever they have to say. Just go on, right? But they're afraid of Jenna Ortega because she became huge on Wednesday. They're afraid. They didn't want to say anything to her, right? But then 2 weeks after that, the director resigned. And while resigning said, I didn't want Melissa to go. It wasn't my decision. So this whole project was poisoned. All of it was poisoned. And now they're trying to put it back together like Humpty Dumpty. And, after disrespecting Neve Campbell, and they're trying to bring Kevin Williamson back. That's going to be the angle. But I don't think you can put this Humpty Dumpty back together. And it's tragic because I love this franchise.
Rosa, the Latino movie-going audience over-indexed from Scream 5 to Scream 6. Spyglass got lightning in a bottle in that they found a brand new generation of audience to enjoy this. Do you think that they're going to go away because these two ladies are now out of this project?
I wish I can be the spokesperson for every single Latino audience, movie going audience. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But I can tell you that I became interested in this franchise when I learned about Jenna and Melissa being part of it, and they were the reason why I started seeing it. I obviously was aware of it. It's a cultural phenomenon and it's iconic and so on and so forth. But I hadn't seen the movies until I became interested because Jenna and Melissa were in it. Now that they're not going to be in it, frankly, I have no interest in seeing it. And I'm certain there's going to be at least one or two more people that think similarly than I do. At least I've seen on Twitter and I've seen on, or X, whatever you want to call it, and other social media sharing similar sentiment, right? Yeah, we're not going to go see this anymore. And the Latino audience is a pretty good chunk of your movie going audience. So I'd like to see how it does when it comes out, Scream 7.
Oh,
Cameron, do you have something to say?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I agree. I agree with Rosa that we don't know how it's going to happen. My instinct is that a good chunk of the Latinos will stay away because the fact is, she's off doing other things. As you yourself, Rosa, you just reviewed her movie. She's got a bunch coming out. I was sitting in the theater and a couple of weeks ago, and I saw her the vampire movie that she's in. Right, I saw the trailer for that, and I just started applauding because I was here. Big trailer. They tried to cancel this woman, right? And here she is in a big movie trailer. I think it's Universal that's distributing it, right?
I think it's Abigail. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Abigail.
So
her career ain't over. It's doing great, and that audience is going to follow her.
You got Abigail, and then you saw you saw the movie Your Monster.
Yeah, I saw it at Sundance a few months ago. Yes.
What's the latest with that? Is that picking up steam? Has that gotten distribution?
It did get distribution. So it should be releasing, I believe, later on this year.
Great. Yeah, in fact, I did read about it a few days ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I want to say really fast, a combined audience of almost 70 people on X and on YouTube watching us right now.
Nice.
That's so awesome, guys. Thank you so much. If you have a question, please ask away. As we are speaking right now, refreshed right now on X, trending Melissa Barrera. Dude.
That's not the trend that Spyglass wanted. They wanted Neve Campbell trending.
I mean, we're going to bring it up, right? We'll bring it up for a second. But, there's so many different facets to this. from the OG, Scream people just not wanting, screw those last two films. We got our Neve back. We got this back. To me, this looked like a promising way to revamp, right? To recharge this franchise, which had already kind of died, years ago. And these guys were on their way. What do you think, Cameron?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said when we started off the video, that this was as you said, lightning in a bottle. This shouldn't have worked because people were already at a time when people were unhappy with franchises and happy with reboots, right? And then this too just worked, and then you discover her relationship to Willie Loomis, the character, that she's got a legacy that's surprising, and as she herself calls, she's the anti-hero because she herself said that that her character is the anti-hero, whereas Neve is the hero.
Yeah, she called Neve the hero. Yeah.
But what was interesting about it, and I fought with some of the YouTubers very, very aggressively, especially YouTubers that didn't bother to actually watch the movie before they critiqued it. Right, I argued with them because they heard rumors about the movie. And
those people,
whatever, and then they got very angry when I said, "Well, you're wrong," because I've actually seen the movie, right? And the movie was brilliant. The Scream, what it was 5, the one where she comes back, right? Or the one where Melissa is introduced and Jenna are introduced, was that it was very respectful of the original cast, which Melissa has been. The movie itself has lines where the characters say, "Don't disrespect the originals." I mean, the characters say that don't, and they say Sydney is the original of originals. They said it in the movie, so people were like, this was coming at a time when we were also tired of our franchises disrespecting the past, like Star Wars and others, right? And then Melissa is the perfect voice for that because she doesn't disrespect the past. She says, "I'm continuing on from the legacy that Sydney created, that Neve Campbell created," and she honors that past. She doesn't disrespect it or say, "Well, I'm better than Neve." She says, "Look, Neve did this incredible thing. She says she will always be the hero of Scream. Always." That's what she said. What a gracious woman, right? And that's why this was a lightning in a bottle, that they got the right cast. They got the cast that the audience wanted, the right message at the right time, that we are honoring the past, right? And then they blow it up because of their political agendas. They blow it up because of their issues, not hers.
Yeah, and I think this is also great for people in the fandom that that are such Gina Carano supporters, which I am as well. That I'm like, guys, they're doing the same thing to Melissa. That's not the same. That's woke eating woke.
Well,
like,
it wasn't why I didn't see it as the same. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right. No, that's okay. It's all right. I know we're passionate about it. Go ahead, Cameron, please.
No, I just want to say the reason, and I've said this before on channel, I'll say it again now, right? Because I'm unafraid to say it. The reason that many people said it's not the same is because they didn't identify with the political message that Melissa Barrera was stating. That was all. It was just their agenda. Okay. I'm a libertarian. I defend the right of people who I don't like saying what they want, right? That's the point of it, right? That's my belief, right? Whereas these people are like, well, I like what Gina said, but I don't like what Melissa said, so Melissa has to be woke when she's anything but, and then they mocked her firing. I was like, it's the same situation, guys. This is a dignified woman stating her opinions, right? Opinions which many of us agree with, and she was let go because they conflicted with the opinions of her bosses.
Amazing stream, amazing panel and guests, guys. Kamran Pasha, Rosa Parra, over 80 people combined watching us. Please comment, ask your questions. We're going to get you guys in a minute. What I'm for is those who speak their minds that I don't agree with. I am for the right for them to speak their minds, because if I don't agree with them, then that gets my noodle going. That gets my, like, where am I with my stance on this? Because then I get to really gonna either I'm gonna do my research or I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna double down on this is my opinion. But I unequivocally, it's like that. We almost gotta protect that for each other. We have to be unselfish with freedom of speech.
Exactly. That's why we have a principle. Gina shouldn't be fired for stating an opinion that was controversial to her bosses. Melissa should not be fired for stating an opinion that's controversial to her bosses, right? It's very simple. People have a right to be wrong. If you think they're wrong, they have the right to be wrong. We've all been wrong at certain points of our life. Look at every one of us has changed our opinions over the course of our lives. Let people have that right to their journey.
Rosa, do you want to say anything?
No, I concur. I think that exposing yourself to different opinions, opposing ones,
Opposing ones.
certainly
Yeah.
they will either cement what you already believe in and further confirm, because if you surround yourself by yes people and people who are always just agreeing with you, then you're really not being challenged, and you don't have the ability to critically think for yourself, rather than just being told what to think and what to say and all that. So no, I concur. It should be you should be able to open yourself to different viewpoints. You don't have to necessarily change your mind or anything, but you'll have the ability to understand other people, and at least try to be more compassionate and more understanding to where they're coming from.
So, like I was saying, Melissa Barrera.
Empathy is
Let me get to
sympathetic, yeah.
this. Like what I was
Okay.
saying, Melissa Barrera is trending while we're live. They've been trending all day, right? Like you said, they don't want Melissa to be trending. People are
No,
saying she's one of the
this
most.
is really embarrassing for them. This is
It is.
there's
It's
the social
because
media
she's not
people
going to
at
go away.
Spyglass are-
She's not going away. See, that's and that's what kind of sucked about Gina, is that they made her go away for a while because she didn't have any other prospects at the time. This is not the case. Melissa is one of the most genuine souls in a corrupt industry, truly deserving of her fame and success. She continues to stand up for what is right, even whenever her career is on the line. Her name actively being slandered. I wish nothing more than to see her thrive. This is from. Well, I'm just reading her, some fan tweets, guys, and people are angry. F Spyglass. More, everything from gratitude towards her to F Spyglass, and people involved. I don't want to say that, but people
This
are
shouldn't be
passionate,
happening
Rosa.
today.
People are passionate, Rosa.
Because notice, there's no news about Melissa. This news is about Neve. Yet all the conversations about Melissa. This is a disaster from their point of view.
Wow. All right. Well, let's get to some of these starred comments, and then if you are so kind, super chat would be wonderful as well. James Esparza, member of the channel, screamed at it with Scream 4 for me. Okay. Yeah. Shanatsky, I think Scream need to end. They became the very thing the series is making fun of when it started. That's a whole. That's a whole
cycle. We can have that conversation, right? Because it's reached a very self-aware full circle, of what it's trying to do. Yes.
Isn't that funny? That would be interesting how they could, not that Spyglass would let them, if they actually had the balls to comment on their state in the final movie, but that's not going to happen. Bushin Rio Cat. Chat, I'm not Latino, so I apologize if this is out of place, but who remembers the movie El Mariachi? How I discovered Antonio Banderas. We all remember that. Yeah. It's not out of place, homie. We're glad that you're here. Listen. Antonio Banderas is like a Ricky Ricardo. He's your gateway drug to the Latino world. So we're good with that. How much is she getting paid? Do you guys have any idea? Do you guys hear anything at all out there?
I sincerely don't know. I haven't read any articles with figures or anything like that, so I'm personally not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it's a lot. I'm guessing it is much more than Melissa was getting, and I'm guessing it's much more than she even asked for it when she left the project last time, right? Because who else have they brought back? They brought back Kevin Williamson, the original creator of this franchise, right?
You're right.
And why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? It's because they are so desperate to get the audience back. Here we go. We've brought back Sydney and we brought back Kevin Williamson. Please come see this movie. And the only way either of those two, Kevin Williamson might do it anyway, but I'm sure he's certainly in a position with his success as a writer to just demand a lot of money anyway, right? And Neve is just sitting, in the driver's seat on this. Like, she could probably ask for 4 or 5 times. She asked for Lifetime. They probably gave it to her because otherwise they've lost a several $100 million franchise. So give her what
everybody,
they've lost everything. So she asked for $5 million, whatever, or I have no idea what her salary was before. I'm sure it was several million. If she asked multiples of that, no problem.
Member of the channel, Jen. It's good to see you, Jen. I'm seeing members I don't see because I never go do the nighttime streams anymore. That might change. Being the new Antifa is hard. I support Melissa. There you go. There
Thank
you
you, Jen.
go. Bushin Rio Cat, Miss on the panel. Sorry, senorita. Hot women get the short end in Hollyweird all the time. I think that's meant for you, Rosa.
For me. Oh, because of how
Like,
she's treated for being vocal and compared to other people.
yeah, was it Miss on the panel, like to the lady on the panel?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, hot women
Um,
get the short end in Hollywood. Well, I think they do in different areas, for different reasons. But
well, at least those who don't allow themselves to be manipulated. Yes, they do.
there you go. There we go. I want Scream the Musical. We can hire Hugh Jackman. Okay.
I would actually watch that.
You know, they're thinking about it now because how do we turn this around, man? They're thinking about everything.
Hey, they're gonna throw stuff on the. I will say this, man. This is probably the only way that they are able to. I don't think there's a script. I think that was just a page, cover page. But the fact that they got Neve is the only way that this is going to happen. That this is going to come back. Because I thought it was dead. It's dead to me. It's dead to me. Darth Plato, member of the channel. If I hear about another Scream movie, I'm going to scream. Nice. Since Conan, that last Scream had too many issues to ignore. There were uneven problems with the one before that. But knowing the original writer creators coming back, that might mean something better.
Okay.
That's certainly what they hope. That's certainly the idea they're promoting to everyone with
That's
the
the
hire.
plan.
And
Yeah.
that's the plan, and we'll see what he does.
Well, okay, here's the thing, Sin. The last film made the most money domestically than any of the other films before that. They don't care about what you just said. They care about, because they revamped it, that Jenna and Melissa in 5, that did good. Then this latest one did better. And it over-indexed in those key demographics that I mentioned, and domestically, the biggest ever. That's what they care. No other reboot, it hardly happens. That's what they cared about. So they're wishing that maybe we can get lightning in a bottle again with Kevin and Neve. That's just my opinion, Cameron.
And that is absolutely what they're wishing. That's the strategic thing. This isn't an accident. This was an intentional decision. They had a crisis meeting after all this went down, and this was the angle, and they were able to pay the right people and made it happen. And maybe it'll work. There's certainly people that are going to go see it. I think there's people in the chat that are going to go see it, right? And that's completely fair. I hope you see it. I hope you enjoy it. I probably am not going to go see it, for the reasons I've stated. I want to support Melissa, and I don't like the way this was handled, so I'm out personally. But the question actually remains: will this be enough? Because the reason they brought Jenna and Melissa was because they understood the future of this franchise and of horror in general. They've understood that the horror franchises in general are becoming a Latino dominant audience, right? That started with Paranormal Activity. That shocked Hollywood. Hollywood started making Paranormal Activities in Spanish to accommodate that market. That's how they became aware of it. This was an intentional choice. The choice was they were hoping Neve Campbell was going to be on the last movie. They just wanted to pay her less, right? But they were hoping to keep this cast going. But it was always going to be about these new people, and they got the numbers to support the demographics. So you bet there's people inside of their, the guys and the accountants sitting there making projections, going, we might get the hardcore loyal fans of Scream back, right? But are they enough? Are they kind of dying out? Are they getting older? We needed these young kids that love these people. I don't know how many they're going to come back. So they may get a passionate fan base back, but that older fan base may not be enough, especially after they teased and created a new fan base. They created a new fan base with these two. Now those people feel they were pissed on. It's a bad situation. I don't know that it's going to work.
Rosa Parra has to go. I want to give you the floor before you leave. Just kind of any final thoughts on this, and that'd be great.
Yeah, now that I'm listening, Kamran, to talk about this, I have a very strong feeling that when they did do what they did with Melissa, when they fired her, they were not ever counting on Jenna doing what she did.
That's correct. I believe they didn't. They were.
I have a feeling they were like, okay, you know what? We still have Jenna. We should be fine. She's perhaps the most popular out of the two, rightfully so.
At this moment, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, they weren't counting on what she did, and now it's all backfired. So yeah, it's unfortunate how it happened. Again, no ill will to anybody that's part of this. It's my issues mostly with Spyglass and how they decided to handle it. And again, I understand some aspects of it, but yeah, it's very disappointing and upsetting to see how Melissa's been treated.
Rosa, before you leave, one more question. I gotta get this out.
What?
Latino erasure in Hollywood is strong in 2024. Here you had a very, very creative way to have two Latinas who are sisters that aren't Latinas in this horror film. This is what we want in regards to a kind of fully fleshed out, fun genre type of diversity, not a token. This was incredible, man, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Rosa, you still have Latino roles being played by non-Latinos. This is still going on. No one says shit, and then if I bring it up, I'm called a racist. What are your thoughts on that?
Paulie, you're telling me Carey Mulligan is not a Latina?
She's not a Latina.
Oh no.
Carey Mulligan, she's a great actress, but she's not Latina.
Anya Taylor-Joy, however, is Latina.
Yeah.
she's a real Latino America. Yeah, she is incredible. Yes.
Yeah, I also brought up the Carey Mulligan, how I made the comparisons, right? How everybody was outraged when the Little Mermaid was cast, the live action one, but when they say Carey Mulligan was cast as the Latina wife of Bernstein and Maestro, nobody batted an eye. And this is like a biopic. This is an actual person. It's not like the Little Mermaid, who is a fictional character. This is an actual person that, yes, you should be taking the ethnicity into consideration. But yeah, I guess we're too woke if we say that, right?
No, well, but again, it's been part of a trend. Hollywood is afraid of Latinos and is trying to put them back in their box. It's not going to work.
No, it's not. And right now I think I have more hope on the indie side of things, on the smaller films, because like we just said, Melissa Barrera is still gonna have a lot of films coming out, and you still have Jenna Ortega doing her things on her end of the thing. So yeah, it's unfortunate that when it comes to bigger studios or biopics like Maestro from Netflix, or popular recognizable IPs like Scream, have for them to do this. It is very unfortunate, but yeah, I think the conversation should still be ongoing, and I'm afraid it will be continued, and this isn't the end. I'm sure we're still gonna be seeing stuff like this going on, because man, it's very unfortunate. If I take it back to even like what happened at the Oscars, right? I'm not gonna lie. I was very teary eyed when I saw Rita Moreno present and talk about America Ferrera the way she did. And granted, this is a 92-year-old woman looking incredibly vital and energetic, far more than I am. But just to see the special moments like that are really meaningful for me. And yeah, Hollywood's just making it more difficult for that to even happen anymore. So,
but as you said, it's not something that's going to be stopped. It's this. For sure. The Latinos are the future. They're the future of this country demographically, and they're the future of entertainment. That's just reality, and that's a good thing. I think you're going to bring a lot of important old school American values back to America. I think George Washington, Benjamin Franklin would have liked where Latinos are taking this country, right?
And that's you're right. Now we got to get Spyglass Entertainment on to wake the F up. Rosa, we're going to CinemaCon next month together. So
yeah,
Latino Slants going to Vegas. Rosa, myself. So that is amazing. Well, we'll talk to you later. Have a good night.
Thank
Rosa,
you so
I just
much,
followed on
Paulie.
Instagram. I'll drop you a DM. What a pleasure.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Good night.
Have a good night. Amazing. So listen, we have combined over 90 people watching us on X and here on YouTube. Comment, like, super chat if you like. And we got one that I want you to read, Kamran.
Okay. From my friend
So
Muslim uncle. Warale, Paulie and chat. Salam and Ramadan Mubarak, CD Kamran. So Ramadan Mubarak, salam alaikum. Muslim uncle's become a good friend of mine, and I'm sure he's fasting away and doing great. And it's wonderful to have him here in the chat.
How you holding up? You feeling okay, Kamran?
I'm doing okay. I still haven't made my tea. I'm gonna make my tea after we finish up. But the first day is hard. The first day is hard. Your body adjusts after a few days, right? First day is hard, but it wasn't as hard as it was a few years ago. So my body, maybe I'm getting older. I'm getting used to this kind of thing. I don't know.
Bushin Ryu Cat for $2. Thank you so much. Do you feel SAG is looking out for new Latino actors? Let's have you answer that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think. Look, I'd rather have Romy answer that. I mean, because she knows better, right? But I'm just from my watching the unions. I've been very critical of the unions. I've been very critical of my union, the WGA. I've had some very ugly conversations with the WGA leadership, right? I don't hide my criticisms with them, and I'm not that happy with how SAG handled its own strike and its own people this year. Talking to my actor friends who felt that they didn't get what they wanted or needed. Not all, maybe others would disagree. It's just what my friend said. My view is none of these unions have anybody's back. That's just my view. I mean, maybe they did years ago, but where we are right now in labor relations in Hollywood, I don't think any of these guys will protect anybody except their own leaderships. That's just my opinion.
I'd have to agree. Screen Actors Guild, Bushin is really those people in power. They just want to keep their power. They'll want to look good by checking the boxes, so they have to have so many Latinos in certain initiatives, certain panels, and certain bogus discussions. But they don't get those people any advancement, any real work. And at the end of the day, you better pay your dues, or you're out of the union. So,
yeah.
Look,
we're all artists. We have to survive. You can't. Nobody has your back. I mean, if you're blessed, if your family, friends have your back.
Romy actually advises if you're not in the union, wait as long as you can until the very last minute, where you have to be in the union. And I think that's great advice.
I mean, if you can make a career without being in one of these unions and make money and you're happy with it, great. I think it's a little easier for actors because there are, I think, a good amount of non-SAG acting opportunities. It's harder for writers. There are some writing opportunities. You can work on some interesting horror films, especially smaller films, European films. But the real work in writers, you got to be in the guild. So it's hard to do it and be in the game as a writer. But I think you can do it as an actor.
Well, we want to thank you guys. Why don't we take a little tea break? We'll take a little minute break, and then we're gonna talk Gina Carano. But let's play a couple little videos. We'll be right back.
Cuando tu esposa te dice, lava los trastes. No voy a lavar ni madre. Nada voy a lavar. Eso no es cosa de hombres, es cosa de viejas. Yo no voy a lavar nada. Lávalos tú. Nada, un TikTok. Un TikTok que está ahorita.
¿De qué? Okay.
No, ya lo voy a borrar porque está bien chafa, ni me gustó. Sí, no, déjamelo. Sí, de hecho, estaba poniendo música para ponerme a lavarlo, ¿sabes? Okay. ¿No sabes dónde está la esponja?
What's happening, everybody? We're gonna get into our Gina Carano talk with Kamran Pasha in a second. Let me answer these really quickly. Shanatsky, if they want me to be interested, get Bruce Campbell. That's hilarious. Saludos, the Vasco scenarios here. I'm debating FICOR myself. Okay. Well, want to thank all you guys. Vinny says I don't want ill will on Neve either, nor upset her accepting the offer. I prefer Scream to stop over welcoming. Like Jesus Christ, Scream 1, 2, and 3 are enough. Yeah, there is that going on, right, guys? There is that going on. Okay, he's back. He's got the tea going on.
I've got my I have this very lovely glass. See this lovely glass? This is how committed I am. This lovely glass. It's beautiful handmade glass, like old school handmade, handcrafted glass. This is glass from the city of El Khalil, which is known as Hebron in English, El Khalil in Palestine, which is where Abraham is buried. And glass making is one of their very old, like hundreds and hundreds of year old tradition,
Beautiful,
right?
man.
So I order Palestinian products, and this is actual Palestinian glass from handmade factories in the city of Abraham. So,
and Hebron,
that's how much.
I mean, you have the city of Hebrons all over the U.S. Hebronville, Texas.
It's inspired by that name.
Yeah, that's the origin of the name. That's beautiful. I gotta say hello to an old amigo, Gio. You talk about the Dominicans here, the Heights Truck Stop Mixtape. What's up, brother? I love you, man. Love you. And look at this for $20. Michael Barrett. Wow. Had to send some love after Cameron dropping truth. Latinos are the demographic future of America and will lead toward classic American values. A la Washington. Wow. Yeah. You know, talk on that.
I speak that from the heart because look, we're here together in LA. This is a Latino community, right? And it is the heart of Los Angeles. And I see the values of the people that are here. They're close, you know, the values of the Latino workers that work in my apartment building are closer to my values as a Pakistani Muslim guy, closer to the values that immigrants come to America for, right? Than the values of my colleagues I work with in Hollywood. It's as simple as that.
Yep. Latinos are the demographic future of America. Listen, it's just a change, and there's some people don't like that. Some people don't care. Some people love that. But that being said, it's happening.
You can't stop it. It's just what it is.
And you know, I'm gonna be a little biased. I'm just gonna be a little biased. You know, Latino families are wonderful, wonderful people. You guys know that when you get invited to dinner at a Latino household, you are treated at first. You're treated very well. Then when you're part of the family, they're gonna.
And then you get a chancla thrown at you, and that's okay. That's just affection.
But it's a lot of love, man. It's a lot of love, and like you said, it's multi-generational. It's there's so many great values. I was telling Cameron where I was today. It's like that's my duty as a son. You know, my mom's good. Mom's good, guys. Don't freak out. It's just that she had an operation, all successful, but I handed off the team as far as like watching over her to my aunt and sister. That's how we do it. You don't leave your mom. You don't leave your mom or your dad alone. No.
Brother, look, I've been my dad passed away in 2010. My mom stayed with me since then. I was a bachelor living by myself right before that. Yeah. And then I've been taking care of my mom since 2010 in my house. And people say to me, man, that's a little crazy, right? I mean, don't you need your privacy? I'm like, look, we all need our own space. I think everyone needs their own space in any culture, but there's no question about taking care of my mother. These are the values that connect me with Latinos. It's not even a question. I mean, it doesn't even occur to me that that's an issue. In some cultures, it's an issue. I don't understand it.
So, Michael, I want to thank you for the amazing super chat. And we have some fun videos whenever people throw us super chats. Here's just one of them. Okay, we got a huge crowd going on. Over 95 people. Big crowd, Cameron, on X right now happening.
That's great.
You know, yeah, that's
People
really
are like,
cool.
wait, is Kamran Pasha's guy still around? Yeah, I'm still around.
They love you, man. They love you. And you know, the thing that I've been reading about is that you gotta start streaming on X. X is, you know,
Look
the
at what's
new-
happened. You've tripled
Mhm.
your double, tripled your viewership just by doing that.
Yeah, no, we're having a blast. Okay, let's get to Gina Carano, because I think this is unrelated related, right? That you know, for different ways, as far as two people just, you know, sticking to their principles, have been punished by Hollywood, and of course Gina a couple of years ago, and now she's slowly making her way. What's going on here? Gina Carano signs with Straight Wire Entertainment Group. Okay. So it is a management company.
Yeah.
Right. And from what we have read, guys, is that she has currently multiple film and television projects in the works, including plans to make her directorial debut. And the management company is Rob Weston. What is a manager, and what kind of representation is this? Why is this important? Cameron.
Well, there's two kinds of representation. I'm sure Romy deals with this, you know, as an actor as well. There's two kind of representation in Hollywood that you have. You have an agent, which is actually something it's a role that's regulated by the state. So you have to actually get certain licenses to do it by the state, and you can only charge certain commission that's regulated by the state, right? And agents tend to have lots of clients. They tend to be like, I mean, the best agents are the best salesmen. That's their job, right? Their job is you bring them an idea, they quickly sell it or they don't, and then they move on, right? And in order to make money in that kind of churn, you have to have a lot of clients. So agents tend to have 100, 150 clients, right? In order, maybe 10% of those people are making the money that keeps the lights on, right? Okay. And so that's what an agent is. A manager, anybody can be a manager. You can be a manager. In fact, I know you're developing the slant production, journey.
Correct.
For entity you're developing that. So part of that, you can be a manager. You can manage part of that. You can manage people, and that there's many producers that are also managers. So a manager is not regulated by the state. In fact, it's just anyone can say, I'm this person's manager, right? In fact, we saw that on that show Entourage, right? That his childhood friend is his manager, right? The guy has no credentials, but he's like, this is my manager. You got to deal with it, right?
He worked at a pizza place.
Exactly. Then we saw Elvis's manager. Elvis's manager was just this guy who was basically hiding from immigration, and his real identity.
You're right, Colonel Tom Parker.
He was like,
wow.
he was, yeah, exactly. He was, Colonel Parker. He wasn't even that. It wasn't his name. He just made up a name, hiding from INS, right? And he was the manager of the biggest star on the planet, right?
That
so anybody can be a
character.
manager, right? Yeah,
Brilliant.
and then there's no limit. And what you do is you serve as, in theory, the difference between a manager and an agent is the manager, in theory, is supposed to manage your entire career. In theory, they're supposed to be really focused on you personally. They're supposed to be focusing on guiding you creatively as an artist. What projects you should be taking? Do you need to be taking classes? Do you need to be connecting with people to improve your craft? What kind of scripts you should be writing if you're a writer. They should be getting that. They're supposed to be in your day-to-day life to manage your life and your career. They should be guiding the right financial advisors. Agents can do that, but they're so busy with their hundreds of clients, they don't really have time to you could go find your own accountant. A manager should, in theory, be able to connect with everybody. That's the manager's there, a manager. But anybody can play a manager, and there can be good or bad. I had agents and managers. I've been represented over the 23 years I've worked in this town. I've been represented by 5 different agencies. I've been with a small town agent that broke me into the career. I went to a small literary agency after that was bought by Paradigm. I was at Paradigm. Then I went from there to Endeavor. Endeavor was bought by William Morris. I was William Morris. Then I went to UTA, and now I'm at Gersh. So you see, I've been on this journey. And each agency, good big agencies have values, small agencies have values. I'm in a medium-sized agency that's working out really well for me right now. But my manager has been the same since 2004. I've been with the same management company on Entertainment since 2004. My manager, Jennifer Levy, Jason Newman, I've been with them since we were all in our 30s, and I'm like my 50s now, right? I've been with them for 20 years, 20 years literally. August of 2004 is when I signed with them. And so they have played that role. They have guided my career. They spend time with you. Like, I don't know if that's the script you should be working on. They are very hands-on in my life. And and they don't always agree with me. So we have those creative arguments, but I know that they believe in me and they stick by me. I've been to different agencies. There were years that I was making a lot of money, and those agents, big agents, wanted me. When I stopped making that much money, up and down of career, suddenly those agents weren't that interested in me anymore, and I went to smaller agencies. My managers have been with me when I was broke, when I was rich, when I was broke again, when I'm rich again. They're there because they're long-term thinking. They're like, I want to be in your life. I want you to help you become the Oscar-winning, Emmy-winning writer you can be. They're thinking 20 years into the future. That's why I'm still with them 20.
So with all that,
yes,
what's going on here, and why? What's going on here? Well, we know. Well, you just explained it, but why is this making news?
Well, it's making news because Gina, when she was sadly fired for her political opinions by Lucasfilm, did not just lose her job as Cara Dune. She lost her representation. She lost her agency. She was at the agency that I was at formerly, UTA. They dropped her very unceremoniously, and I know from, just some conversations I've had with her on DM that I'm sure it was hurtful to her. It was hurtful to me when some of my agents dropped me in the past of my journey, right? But I'm sure it was very hurtful to her. And it can be when people, you expect your agents to have your back and they don't have your back, right? They're like, these people have falsely accused you of being an anti-Semite and taken away your job, and then your agents believe it and they drop you too. It's very hurtful, right? And then she was without representation as far as I'm aware. And forgive me, Gina, if you're watching this and I'm misrepresenting it, please pardon me. I'm just going with the limited knowledge that I have about your life from public information. My understanding is Gina has not had representation since then. And so, and that's very hard for anyone, from Romy. If you don't have representation, unless you're already best friends with Tom Cruise, you don't have access. You just don't have access. How are you going to get in front of people? And so, Gina Carano has access in the sense that she's a very famous person who has a successful career before becoming an actress. But even then, but now she had the whole world against her. The whole system, at least, was against her, and with no one fighting for her. So she had to be on her own. But now, look, her life is turning around. She sued Disney, and I still believe she'll settle and get whatever she wants out of it. I believe, I can't say she will settle. I believe the settlement offer will be made to her. Whether she chooses to accept is Gina's choice. But I definitely believe that Disney will not want this to go on much longer, and I'm hopeful that she'll be offered something that's acceptable to her. But her life is turning around, and it's the same time now that she's announced she's signing up with these new managers, Straightwire Entertainment, and so she now has someone who has, and the person behind this, the gentleman behind this management company, which is really more of a production company / management company, right? Because as someone pointed out earlier, she, as far as we can tell from IMDb Pro, she's their first client as a manager, but they have a lot of movies. They made a lot of indie films. They have offices in the UK. I mean, these are people that have been working in Hollywood, right? They're making stuff. They obviously have network. They have contacts. They can get stuff done. So now she's got someone in her corner at last in the system.
So she says, we are already actively working on a new television series that I'm ecstatic about, that is unlike anything I've done thus far, and are actively attracting creators from all over who are excited to collaborate. Is this also a little embarrassing for Disney?
Of course it's embarrassing, because it shows that the town is now bringing her back into the fold, right? Because, she's now, and if you notice the tone of this Deadline article is not the dismissive, arrogant tone that has been presented in the trades in the past about her, right? It's more like a professional thing that, it acknowledges that she was seen in a certain light by some of her tweets or whatever, but it doesn't, in the previous sort of trades article, she was pasted as such. It was presumed that she was an anti-Semite. It was presumed all these things. They're not presuming that here. They're stating that this in more of an objective journalistic tone, this is the kind of thing that happened to her, and now she's getting back on her feet, right? That's a change in tone for the trades, who have figured out that this woman's back in the game. You can't talk bad about her anymore.
That's a great okay. I mean, yeah, you kind of stumped me there, because you're right. You're absolutely right. Is that they might mention it, in a down a third or fourth paragraph, but it's not the villainous Gina Carano that they paint right away that they used to do, which was wrong.
And look at that lovely photo they have of her. They have a lovely photo there that's very attractive, right? She's an attractive woman. But you could post photos of her not looking as feminine, as beautiful as she does in this photo, right? Because she's an action star. You could post all kinds of photos of her. They're making her look like a very attractive person that she is, right? And a lot of the PR of how Hollywood works is you look at the photos that are included in the trades. That photo will tell you the angle of the article. Just like whenever you have those images of Trump going,
the thumbnails,
that's
even like a thumbnail would do, right?
Yeah, and you get the idea. You're looking like him, and then you have this woman looking in her lovely angelic vibe that she is. That's how they're presenting her in the image.
So this is amazing. So I actually don't. I think that they're going to settle before they get to any discovery. And that being said, and with this happening, you've been a proponent that this is a couple steps going already back into the fold of Hollywood, and a step now another step closer to being reunited with Favreau.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I remain of the opinion, again, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I want this for Gina. Assuming she wants this, and I'm thinking she does, at least in the legal claim she made, in the legal claim that she filed. She seemed to be asking for her job back, and I think I think most of the fans want her job back. I think if she would offer her job back, I would certainly be, if I were on her team, I would say take it. I mean, I think that you love this character. It's very clear you love this character. The audience love the character. The people buy her toys. They still buy her toys, right? Everyone wins if you take this job. That's what I would counsel her. And I'm very hopeful that the final settlement offer will present her the opportunity to return. And from at least the contacts that I have within the industry and within Lucasfilm are telling me that's certainly what Jon Favreau would prefer. I've been told Jon Favreau, I don't think there's any controversy that Favreau has great affection for her. He created the character of Cara Dune explicitly for her. We've heard a lot that, he was upset when she was fired. He had no power to stop it, right? But, I've heard that he is definitely would prefer to have her back in Star Wars and have her back in the movie that he's doing right now, right? And I think it works out for everybody, except maybe the people that fired her. Doesn't make them look good.
Right. You're right. You're right, man. You're right. Let's get to a couple of comments. I think the lawsuit was on Gina coming back to Star Wars. This is a necessary step for healing process to start between Disney and the Star Wars fan base.
I agree.
You've been very, very critical of them. In so far much that if this acolyte thing is going to happen, it's a glorified student short film. The Rey movie, it's not going to happen.
I mean, I think at this point, that's becoming the consensus of even of the people that mocked me 6 weeks ago that's not happening. Yeah.
What do you think of this? Is there muster? We're in this healing process between Lucasfilm and the fan base, the OG fan base. Because you're very much still a Star Wars fan, Cameron.
I love Star Wars, and I like what Jon Favreau has done with Star Wars. So, I mean, again, I treat everything after George Lucas. I treat everything after George Lucas as fan fiction. It's all fan fiction if it's not Lucas himself doing it, all right? And I think Jon Favreau has done very good fan fiction for the most part. I like where he's going with it.
Check this out. Combined over 112 of you guys watching. We've been getting some comments on X. I want to thank you guys that are watching us on X. Muchísimas gracias. Do me a favor, if you're on X, I put the link there in our chat on X to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because on YouTube we need your support. We need you guys to get over there right now and subscribe. And to all our people in YouTube right now, much love to all you guys. Let's say hello to a couple of friends that are stopping on by. What's up, Zax? Good to have you, man. Hey. Zax had Cameron on. That was fun.
You see, I love both of your channels because both Zax and you always have beautiful women on your channels. Both of you do. I'm very happy. Yes.
Telling you, man. Telling you. Justin Channels. Oh man, you guys are up late tonight. Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Well, Justin, for us, it is only 9:35 on the Pacific coast. So that's why me and Cameron are both out of Los Angeles. So it's not that late for us, but If you're up late, I say this is the place to come and hang out right now.
Yeah.
Sci-fi
This is
from
Playboy
ATV.
After Dark. That's what this is. Yes.
Remember that song? Remember that music? Oh, you take me back by saying that. Not that I've ever watched it. Evening, everyone. Evening sci-fi. Hollywood is so strange, brother. So bizarre that both of these new headlines came out today and got and I would say definitely the Melissa one more than Gina. Obviously when Gina did her lawsuit a few weeks ago, that was the big stinger. I think this is fantastic for Gina now. But both headlines came out today. Melissa and Gina. With Scream, everyone now more so than ever is really rallying behind Melissa Barrera, classy lady. Now more than ever, people are rallying behind Gina Carano, classy lady. These two women are class acts, Cameron.
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No, I was responding. Someone's commenting that in the thing. I was responding, but yes, I'm listening to you.
Keep on responding. We had a poll really fast. Will the new Scream succeed? 26%. There's a tie saying no reinas, no money. That means no queens, like no Latinas, no money. So that tied with we got Scream at home. That's right. Thank you guys for doing that voting.
So look, let's say that's reflective. If they lose 25% of their audience, right, which I think is realistic, that's not going to help them.
Oh, that's
not a good trend.
That is not good. That's definitely not good. Yeah. That's definitely good. I mean, 22% are excited, yay / 24% they just want the popcorn bucket. Fletcher, where do you get these? The mind of Fletcher Williams, everybody.
I literally just make them up. When you text me as I'm doing something else and you're like, literally, you just text me, poll.
Yeah. I'm like, give me a poll. Come on.
It's like, poll. And I'm like, okay. And then I got to look and see, like, what are you doing today? And I got to pay attention. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let me think of something. But,
you know what you're like, Fletcher? Fletcher is like those guys at the Oscars a few years ago, the accountants that were so busy taking selfies with the stars that they gave the wrong envelope, right? And then then La La Land was announced as the winner of the movie when it wasn't, right, of the best picture. So you're like that guy. You're off doing your own thing and like, here's the Oscar envelope. Yeah, here's your poll.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'm like,
you're
what?
Like, yeah,
there's an award show going on.
Oh my god, that's hilarious, guys. The viewership just keeps on rising. Over 137 of you guys watching. X is on fire. Don't forget to subscribe to the Latino Slant. Thank you, Fletcher. Give me your thoughts really fast on what Cameron and Rosa have said as we start winding down. I know we got some super stickers, but as we start winding down, give us your thoughts, Fletch.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that Hollywood doesn't really listen. There's a big behemoth that's pretty non-caring about who their audience is, where other industries are very hard trying to figure out who my audience is who's the person that's consuming my product. Hollywood seems to think that, it's fine, just consume the product that we're giving it to you because we're giving it to you, instead of thinking, who is actually going to the movies. We see this because, Paulie, you talk about this all the time. So many Latinos go to the movies, but they're not represented. So you're like basically saying, okay, you're giving me flour tortillas and Taco Bell, basically. And you're just saying, okay, because we're going to the movies, it's fine. But eventually, when more indie creators are going to come out, like, when Kamran's movie, is like, it gets out, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, dude just blew it out the water. He's like doing Dune, and he's doing like all this kind of stuff. And you're like, and he's getting done on budget with a great cast and it looks awesome. And there's representation that's not forced. then they're going to be like, wait a minute, I think we're missing something. But by that time, I don't know if it's going to be too late. That's the only thing. I think they're a behemoth that's not turning on time, and sadly, big corporations like that don't do well. Remember Sears?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's just the tragedy is Hollywood wasn't like this at the golden age of Hollywood, as we call it, were people that made movies for the audience, right? They put in their politics, they did their stuff that, they tried to advance society in the direction they wanted to, but they did it much more subtly, right? They would cast a black actress when it was unacceptable to have black people at your house, right? They would do things that would start advancing the conversation, but without your head over it, right? And that change really that was the vision of the original founders of Hollywood, who were, these like Louis Mayer, Jack Warner, those guys, right? Those guys ultimately were just, frankly, shoe salesmen from Brooklyn that showed up in LA in the 1920s and decided to make movies. That's what they were, right? And as shoe salesmen from Brooklyn, I'm not even exaggerating. These are like working class people that showed up, right? Who had been locked out of the Broadway world. They were Jewish and they were considered not acceptable to the Broadway world. They, at best, they could do like, some off Broadway stuff, but they were locked out. They wanted to create their own market, and they had this new technology that came. But they were shoe salesmen. So they said, you can't make a woman want to wear a shoe she doesn't want to wear. You got to tailor the shoe for her, right? That was their training. And so that's what they did for 40 years. The golden years of Hollywood is they made movies that the people wanted to watch. Most of these guys were not particularly religious, but they were making like biblical epics because that's what the American public wanted to watch. And frankly, what the world wanted to watch. Even, Ten Commandments was a global hit, right? I mean, because the world wanted to watch this stuff. These people didn't share these beliefs. They didn't care. The audience wanted it. It's been in the last, and it got worse, when it went from the studio system to the corporations. Well, the corporations, okay, so they didn't have the vision of the shoe salesman founders, but the starting the 70s, the corporations come in and they start trying to make more Coca-Cola movies, right? That are dumbed down for the masses, but they're still thinking of the masses, right? And so it allowed, but it was a system that still allowed independent people like Scorsese and Lucas and Spielberg and others to rise, okay? It's been the last 10 years where this third generation, so that went on for 40 years, right? And then in the last, it's like from 1970s to 2010, so another 40 years, right? 1930s is the beginning of the talkies, 1970s is the beginning of the corporate era of Hollywood, and 2010 is the beginning of the woke era of Hollywood, which is what we're all getting out of. It's been now 15 years of this, 14 years of this crap, right? And we're getting out of it. And that's the damage that was done, is there's a third generation of people that didn't care about the audience at all. They weren't even trying to sell them Coca-Cola. They're trying to convince them that you have to like New Coke because we're telling you to like New Coke, right?
Brainwash.
That's not smart thinking. And it didn't work. And thankfully, and as I like to say, because I'm bored of everyone's like, the woke Hollywood, we are out of that. We are I'm just telling you guys, the Red Sea has come crashing down on Pharaoh's troops, to use the Ten Commandments imagery.
Why not? Go with it. Go with it.
We are past that. Now we're in this wilderness of trying to find our way to the promised land, but we're past the crisis that we were enduring, which is we were being hunted down by pharaohs. We were being hunted down by the woke pharaoh warriors, and then economics and demographics crashed on top of them in the last 2 years, and they drowned. Now we've got the process of rebuilding, and we're still going to have stupid stuff happen. We're still going to have people, and I think the next stage is actually, to use the analogy all the way, is what you and I talked about. I mean, some of the people that were invested in the way things were, who made their money on YouTube and other formats by being angry about the way things were, aren't going to let it go. So using the Ten Commandments analogy, what happens after that? Moses leads them, to Mount Sinai, and then some of them go, I want to go back to the way things were, the golden calf. I know that. And then they fight Moses, and he has to get rid of them, right? We're at this stage right now. We're having infighting amongst the fans and the YouTubers and these people, because a lot of them they want to go back to the world of Pharaoh that they knew who the good guys and bad guys were. They don't know where things are like in this new world, and they don't know where they fit. So they want to go back on that.
Put a pin on that, because also too, I want to make it clear to people that are watching us for the first time tonight live. I know I was on Film Threat the other day. I had a lot of people coming on over. Thank you guys for coming on over. Fletcher said something in regards to wanting to, as far as like the demographics of America, as far as representation on film, right? Let's make it real clear, right? It's it's an awake statement. It's not a woke statement. This isn't an awake statement, right? Is that
It's reality.
Latinos love going to the movies. We have eclectic taste. We love everything. We make everything hits. We are the biggest movie going audience in the States, right? So what I mean by that is that there's no requirement like you have to have 20%, but 21% of the population has to be reflective. I don't follow that jive, right? But when we are represented, I want it to be amazing. I want it to be just like amazing stories, like Cameron's new script. But I want to make it really clear. We have the most eclectic taste there is, and it's pretty wonderful, from Top Gun to movies in Spanish to Indian movies to Korean cinema and back to Hollywood. We make hits. To Sisu, guys, in the States was a hit because of the Latino audience. I know it's weird, but it's in the freaking numbers. So I just wanted to make that really clear, is that I'm not on a woke watch to, oh, are there enough Latinos? Because I get painted like that, and I don't appreciate that. And that gets me pissed because I can't fully articulate what I'm really about and what this channel is really about on other people's channels, because I got to like sit there and like, oh, okay, ha, ha, ha. But no, this is what the slant is really all about. And it's like that uncomfortable thing. It's just like, oh, you know what? That's cool, man. I can laugh at the jokes, but at the end of the day, we're just gonna be we're just reflective.
Well, that's the thing. Is the jokes are coming from a place of fear, because
I've said my little piece.
Yeah, no, but and I'm glad you said it, because you spoke from the heart, and it's the truth. It's an uncomfortable truth, because it's also a reflection of the challenge the fandom is going to have to go through in maturing, right? In dealing with reality, which is that there are people that are frankly resentful of this change that's coming, because in their minds they don't know how to be part of it. But that's in their minds. That's in their mind. It's not real. It's not real. The Latinos aren't excluding anybody. It's not.
And we're getting some amazing. We're getting some amazing comments. We got you for a couple more minutes, Cameron.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, really fast. Michael gave us a great super chat earlier. It's about authentic storytelling, man. Listen, you are 100% correct. Kamran Pasha probably just wrote one of the best Latina leads that I've read for an action film in years. Guess what? He's not Latino. I don't give a shit.
It's a great dude.
It's a great script.
Thank you.
You know what? I am not closed-minded like that. Don't be ridiculous. And you're absolutely right, Michael. You're absolutely right. But okay, let me stop. Much of Hollywood is unwatchable, but I'm finding so many amazing series and films to watch, to enjoy. Listen to the recommendations of people like Paulie. You don't have to hate watch anymore. Oh, thank you, Zach.
Oh my God, that should be put up as like a sticker somewhere. You don't have to hate watch anymore. It's like, it's okay. You're not being hunted by the Pharaoh anymore. You don't have to be in a constant state of anger and agitation all the time.
Fantastic. 160 people watching. 115 on X. Rocking here on YouTube. Make sure you guys come on over to YouTube just to subscribe. Keep on watching next. We love that. Okay. You look at this. Niku N1. Every YouTuber brainwashed her not to work for Disney again. Prove me wrong.
Well, I did respond to Niku in the chat.
Okay.
Look, I can't speak for any. I mean, we'll talk about Gina Carano here. Look, I can't speak for what's in Gina's head. I'm just going to give my opinion of observing her as a human being, the limited interactions I've had with her, and the very limited few DMs I've had with her. She's a very busy woman, and I don't expect to be her buddy, right? But the limited interaction I've had with her, she strikes me as someone who has completely her own mind. She has her own value system. She has her own beliefs. She's a mature woman. She's not 18 years old. It's easily manipulated. Any of us, when we were 18, my politics have changed a lot since I was 18. My understanding of the world has changed a lot since I was 18. She ain't that. She's a mature woman who's had a life. She had a successful career before Hollywood. She mastered her career before Hollywood. And then she came here and she hit the ground running, and she's a professional from everything anyone who's worked with her has said. So I'm sure she has deep friends in the YouTube community. We've seen her share lots of photos on her public things about the people. Some of the people that we have on this channel, some people we've talked to, are have lovely photos with her that she's met with, and wonderful for them. But she's not a person that's going to, this woman's a religious Christian. She has some devout convictions of her own. She's not someone that's going to be manipulated by anybody. Whatever she chooses to do will be what Gina Carano wants to do, not because anybody's whispering in her ear. That I can conclude it from my limited interactions with her.
Thank you for that. And we have some super chats. First super chat on the Latino Slam from Horror Scenario Skyver for $9.99. Just a Shiba Inu laughing and what's up, dude? I'm gonna see you at a movie meetup soon. Gracias, brother. Gracias. Jeremiah Hembry for $5. Are you happy that Godzilla won Best Visual Effects?
I'm happy that it won. It deserved it. But what I'm unhappy about is it should have been nominated for Best Picture, not just Best International Picture. It should have been nominated for that if they were too cowardly to give it Best Picture, but it should have been nominated for Best Picture because the consistent conversation I've had with screenwriters, with professional screenwriters, is like, this is one of the best scripts I've ever seen in my life, right? It is an incredibly moving film. It is a work of art. It is, it's a Godzilla movie, and it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. And it should have been nominated for Best Picture, but remember, it's never won anything. Even giving it a Best Visual Effects is a breakthrough because Godzilla is seen by Hollywood as this schlocky thing, right? Schlocky thing that millions of people are fans of, including me, right? And so they sort of resentfully gave it this visual effects as the only nomination. This movie is not a Godzilla movie in the way we think of Godzilla movies. It's as good as or better than the original movie from the 1950s, which is not a monster movie. It is a movie about the horror of what human beings did with the atom bomb. And this movie develops that idea even further, the horror of war itself, right? It's a movie that asks and answers profound questions about life. So it should have been Best Picture.
Listen, I mean, you could even say it's a prequel the sequel to Oppenheimer. I mean, the fact that both of these films came out in the same year, I love Hollywood for that. I mean, this is a real triumph of a film. I watched it twice in the theater. Honestly, at times I forgot this was a horror film because the acting was just so riveting. The lead character, all the characters. What a film! And yeah, the visual effects were great, but I think it's winning awards all over. Definitely in Japan, like Best Actor, Best Film, and Jeremiah, thank you so much.
And there's another reason they didn't give it much attention. My understanding is the budget is around $15 million approximately.
I don't even think
they made
much.
one of the best. They made one of the best movies in years on a budget that a Scream movie gets. I mean, come on.
I mean, listen, the visual effects for a movie that costs less than $15 million to make. What a slap in the face to these $200 million films. I mean, who else?
I thought I was in 1945 Japan. I never questioned it for 1 second.
Right. Yeah. Sci-Fi for Me TV. I heard 10 million. Because the filmmaker was like, no, we didn't have that much money. Granted, I think 10 million is a lot different as far as stretching that dollar in Japan, but still.
I think even if we did purchasing power, it probably won't be more than 15 or 20 million US. I mean, it's still in the lower mid-budget range.
Yeah. But I'm definitely with Kamran on that. It was I think it was one of the few things that we actually were jumped up and down for as far as when they won. There were actually some great so Godzilla, Boy and the Heron, American Fiction won, Anatomy of a Fall won. I was over the moon with those wins because I loved those films. I absolutely love those films. Thank you so much for the super chats really fast. Julissa, wonderful member of the channel. Great stream. I've been listening. Yeah, she's fantastic. 22% of Doom Tune audience opening weekend, Latino Hispanic. What happens too, and you're seeing this, the movie has legs. It's because of the word of mouth from these groups is getting out. And I also think Latina women just love Chalamet and pretty boys and all that stuff.
Well, they love what's his phrase, the poor gentleman who passed away in the Fast Furious franchise, Paul Walker, right?
Paul
He had
Walker,
a huge white guy that had all the Latino following, right? And God bless him.
yeah.
But there's also let's look at some of the choices, the creative choices that were made that I think whether they made it intentionally. I think it resonated with the Latino audience on Dune 2. Because I watched it again a second time this weekend with a producer friend of mine, who's very successful guy. We watched it, and I enjoyed it a second time as well. But I noticed something which I'd seen some people, some critiques, some reviewers had said, well, it's very heavy-handed on its anti-colonial messaging. I'm like, well, that's going to resonate with Latinos. The anti-colonial messaging. I'm fighting for my people, and what do we need this white guy to lead us, right? And they said that's heavy-handed. You know why? It's because they're kind of uncomfortable with the fact that, that the conversation's even being had, right, in that movie about who is this random dude, this rich white guy showing up in this desert planet of brown people. Feed them, right? That's the objective truth. I mean, he's a rich white dude. He's a duke, right? Showing up, and he's like going to be the messiah of these people, right? And it's certainly worthy of a conversation, where they're like, well, the Mahdi, the Messiah, has to be a Fremen, has to be one of us. That's a real conversation that people have about leadership in revolutionary movements, and something I think Latinos identify with.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, right? I mean, here's where I'll disagree just a little bit. Let's hear your perspective. I just it was too much of a diversion from the book, and the book is just perfect storytelling. And I'm not sure Zendaya and the way they wrote a character, the Chani was pulled off. It just
I can critique how they executed it. I know the intention of why they did it.
Right. And so it came off as like, yeah, we're resistance, and yeah, those people praying, they're stupid. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not Dune. It was a little too modern for me. It was a little too took me. It didn't ruin the film for me. I'm just it just took me out for a second. That's all.
I mean, and it's a critique, by the way. I've had several people have said that, and I understand that critique very well, because I mean, but it's also something that I do think worked on some people in the audience. I think it did work. It at least satisfied some people that might have had that objection rising within them.
Listen, it's a huge hit, and people are coming back. People are going back to these. That's an adult sci-fi film. Oppenheimer, about the nuclear bomb. -1. Look at Zach. It was my favorite film last year. I'm not even a Godzilla fan. That's
a lot of people on my Patreon have been saying exactly that. They've ranked that as their number one movie.
Sox's bulletins. Hello, I'm just subscribed to this channel. Yay! Is that one of yours? The best channels out. Yeah. Oh, really?
It is one of the best channels out there. I've
Sox's bulletin.
No, I'm saying you. I don't. Oh. I'm not. I forgive me. I'm not familiar with Sox. If he has,
I'm like, am I missing out on a new channel?
Latino slant. I mean, I hope Sox has a channel. I'm not familiar with you. Forgive me if you have a channel that I haven't watched yet. So yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I think we're about done here. Even though we got a massive crowd, 156 still hanging out with us, Cameron.
That's great. Well, look, this was an important day. I think, those who are coming in on Twitter or coming in later on YouTube, go back and watch this whole thing. If you've missed it, we've had an incredible conversation on everything, going back to Melissa Barrera, going back to what's happening with Neve Campbell and Scream.
Mm-hmm.
This has been going for almost over an hour and a half, right? If you've missed the earlier parts, I think there's a lot of interesting commentary that's worthy of you rewinding and going back and watching this video from the beginning, because I think there's a lot of sophisticated conversation on here that we had today.
Let's do two things, right? We'll say hello. We'll say goodbye to a couple people in the chat. Hello, goodbye. In the chat, though, I think me and Cameron are onto something. I think. What do you guys think of a nighttime stream here on the slant? Depending on his schedule, but this was a lot of fun, man. So let us know what you guys think of that, and.
Well, during Ramadan, nighttime is going to be easier for me, because during the day I'll be like half awake, right? And so I won't necessarily have the greatest cogent analysis. So,
gotta say hello to Matt Vader, my boy in Vegas. Godzilla was cool, but people overhyped it. People overhype anything that's kind of like, remotely fresh, right? It's just like, And I get it. I get it. Good to see you here, man. Good to see you here. I'm gonna see you in a few weeks in Vegas, and it's good to see you. Just another red shirt. He's been a member of the channel since day one.
What a great name! I love that. What a great name.
Just another, just another red shirt. Yeah, hombre. Never see this guy. I never admit. Maybe we'll come back to a nighttime thing. Okay. Final thoughts, Cameron. Final thought. I know you just said it to the audience to recheck up on everything, but moving forward with this Melissa Barrera Scream debacle, I'm looking forward to Melissa's Abigail, and now that she's gotten Your Monster, what are your final thoughts on that today?
Well, I mean, I love Melissa Barrera as an actress, right? Like I said, I want to cast her in my Well of Babylon script that you read and very kindly promoted on Latino Slant just a few days ago. I'm going to follow her career. I plan to watch all of her movies because I think she's a good actress who keeps my attention. There's something magical about her. I saw her in The Heights, and I couldn't get my eyes off the screen when she was there, right? So, you know, I'm a big Scream fan. I don't think I'll be watching this new movie, and God bless Neve Campbell. I hope she finds success in it. I'm probably not going to be able to after all that's happened. It's just doesn't sit right with me, right? But people should watch it if they feel like it. I mean, I'm not telling anyone not to watch it.
Okay, fair enough. And then in regards to Gina Carano,
I'm just happy to see Gina getting back. I'm just happy to see her getting back on her feet. She didn't deserve what happened to her. She's a good person. She's a talented actress. She has a future. Her future was derailed for a bit unfairly. And, you know, nothing she said was worthy of the treatment that she got, the same way with Melissa Barrera. So I'm glad to see her fighting back. I'm glad to see her getting, you know, getting just back in the game, in the system. Now she has a representative. The trades are talking about her respectfully and not demeaning her anymore. She's back in the game.
Nice, brother. Nice. You guys know where you can catch Cameron? It's on his Patreon. The Patreon is popping, man. Your Patreon is popping. It's doing really well. And that's how we actually you know, was like, hey man, did you see that news? Yeah, I'm writing about it right now. Da. Hey, let's do a stream. Let's get on the slant. I'm like, hell yeah, let me see if I can get back home. I got back home. But yeah, we do need to wrap this up. So follow him on Patreon. I'm a member. All that good stuff right there on his Patreon link. Am I missing anything else here, Fletcher, before we do the closing credits?
No, just let everybody know that every Monday we're here in the week, and to check out Midnight Edge en Español tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Listen, guys, Fletcher Williams and Pablo are doing Midnight's Edge in Español live tomorrow at can you get that link in the chat and people mark that as we play the closing credits to new and gifted members. There you are. What else, Fletcher? Is that it? But you got that. To Thursday night, also, I'm gonna go see Magical Society of the Magical Negroes.
No. The Magical Society of Negroes, is that it?
No, it's Society the Society of Magical Negroes.
The Secret Society.
Where's the society of, like, you know, the two cool Chicanos, you know? Hey, Chicanos should make their own studios. If Hollywood, orale.
Yeah, I think you might be working on that a little bit, Paulie. You might be trying to get that wish to come true.
Well, yeah, you know, we're working on stuff. Great to have everyone here in the combined chats. Fletcher, what else, bro? What else as we close this out?
Don't forget to check out the latinoslant.com. It's free to subscribe, and you guys get full articles on everything that's going on in Hollywood. Also, a lot of stuff that we try to cover in the channel where we can, which is a lot of the music and a lot of the movie recommendations that we want you to guys check out. And it's free. All you got to do is put your email on the list, and we don't sell it. And it's free to do. Go check it out, latinoslant.com. As Paulie creates the American Society of Magical Chicanos.
Ándale, pues. Cameron, thank you so much, my brother. Always, this was another winner, another one for the books.
Well, like I said, there's very few channels that I'm to still want me on, and that I still enjoy coming on. And this is one of them. This is
They
one of
all
them. Zach's
want you on, bro. They
I
just
think
they
their
don't
audience
know how
wants
to
me
handle
on.
the conversation now.
Yes, but I think that their audience wants me on. I'm not so sure that they want me on.
Right. Look
They're-
at
which
this
is
audience.
bringing us full circle. The audience wants Melissa Barrera, but the people making the decision don't. I mean, the full circle, right? But I'm delighted to be on this channel and Zach's
funny,
channel and a
man.
few others. So it's all good.
All right.
All right. God bless.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Have a good night, everyone.